Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, welcome back to another video for Monster Hunter Stories 2, and in this one I want to put together a quick handy guide on 8 things that you can and should now be doing if you get to the end of the game. Now I appreciate people are still playing through, but once you get to the end of the game and you get to the point where you have completed the story, you might then begin asking the questions, what do I do now? And this video is exactly that. So if you do enjoy this, a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below if you have any questions. But to begin with, number 1 is to farm high rank dens. When you get to the end of the game and you've completed the story, you will then go back to any and all of the regions and you will find that you start seeing amidst the normal dens, the stone ones and the gold ones, you'll also start seeing high rank dens. High rank dens are of course red, and you can also get high rank rare dens, which are of course the gold ones. When you go up to them, they will of course say high rank, so there can still be regular rare dens. But going into high rank dens basically means you have a chance at getting monsties with better genes. They won't necessarily always be better, but generally speaking, comparatively, if you have 2 eggs, one from a regular den, one from a high rank den, chances are the high rank one is going to have better skills. So initially, this is a great thing to do if you are trying to bolster your team, find some new monsties, or just find some better genes to put into your team that already exists. Also, within those high rank dens, don't forget if you go into high rank rare dens, the golden ones, there is also a chance specifically for Nergigante. All the other elders and deviants come from other locations, but specifically for Nergigante, he can come from rare high rank dens in the Turga region. So if you happen to be around the Turga area, going around and you see an egg like this, then this is Nergigante. So that is option number 1. Of course, as an extension to this, option number 2 is to keep an eye out for super rare dens. As the name suggests, they are indeed super rare. In fact, I can count on one hand how many of these I have seen so far, and I have well over 100 hours in this game, so you're not going to see these ones that frequently. If you want to try and farm for them, I would pick a location that has a higher density of dens. Turga is a great place. You can simply load into it, spin around, look at all the available dens. If there is no super rare one, which of course is a diamondy colour, you can then load in again, and you can complete the process. Don't do what I did and get excited and confuse a subquest den, which is sort of a shimmery silver one, with the glowing diamond colour. They are indeed very different, but if you do get super rare dens, then going into those can of course yield both deviants and elder dragons. So they are definitely worth your while, but you will not find them frequently. They have a very low spawn rate, so chances are you'll probably find it more so by accident, but look out for super rare dens. Then in number 3, of course, do turn your attention to the Elder's Lair. The Elder's Lair is one of the primary sort of created endgame activities, something for you to pursue. It is genuinely a really fun thing to work your way through. It is a multi-floor structure. You basically go through different tiers and you take on challenges, battling monsters, breaking parts, doing different things like that. Now, I'm going to keep the final boss a complete surprise, but it is worth doing the Elder's Lair because when you get to the end and you get to fight the final boss, that of course allows you to craft some new armor and some new weapons that you may well want for your rider. So doing the Elder's Lair is great both for that reason, but also in doing so, going through, you'll also be encountering bottle caps from chests, you'll also encounter some other monsties. It's just a great place to farm XP, fight some monsties, craft some gear, and just have some fun. So complete the Elder's Lair. Of course, outside of that, don't forget you also have your quests. If you're anything like me, you probably went through the game completing some of the quests, but also just picking up every single one and sort of stockpiling them. Well, now you're at the end of the game, this is a great chance to go back and complete any of those quests that you might have missed. Don't forget that some of them, especially, will yield bottle caps, some of them will give you crafting recipes, some of them will even give you new moves for your weapons, so if you want to have the complete arsenal of attacks in combat, then it's definitely worth looking out for all of these. Of course, following on from there, you want to dive into co-op expeditions, specifically the super rare ones that require the super rare tickets, because this will be one of your primary sources for elder dragons and deviants. Again, we did a video on this the other day, but if you are pursuing elder dragons and deviants and you don't want to rely on super rare dens, then going into super rare co-op expeditions is a guaranteed way to get eggs for both of those monsties. Of course, following on from there, if you're trying to build a beefy team, make sure you are taking advantage of the Rite of channeling. This is something that, of course, a lot of you would have had exposure to throughout the game, but honestly, you can play throughout the entirety of the game never having to touch this. But once you get to the end of the game, this is where you really want to start investing in this, because at this point, you're now starting to decide who's going to be in your team. You then want to start collecting monsties that carry good genes that you can then put into your favourite monsties, and of course, then start bolstering and beefing up your main team so that they can hit hard in both combat and PvP. Speaking of which, turn your attention to point number 7, test out your monsties in PvP. Admittedly, this isn't necessarily for everyone. Some people just prefer the sort of PvE aspect of the game, and that's fair enough. But if you do have a wild team with some sort of sleeper hit moves, then this is a fun chance to dive into PvP and show people what you've been making. Also keep in mind, you also get some rewards and some bottle caps by completing PvP, so it's also worth doing. And then finally, on the topic of bottle caps, don't forget to go around and collect those, any sort of missing evidence maybe you didn't do beforehand. Of course, getting bottle caps from rare dens, getting them from co-op expeditions or from quests, because there are also plenty more items to purchase from the bottle cap vendor. You might just want to buy some of the crafting recipes or the expansions to your stables and your expeditions, or you might be a collector and you might want to be going around grabbing all the new costumes for Navarru or the different hairstyles, so there's plenty of stuff to pursue. But for those of you guys that have now got to the end of the game and are wondering what else you have to do, the answer is quite a lot. There's a fair bit of stuff in the end game for Stories 2, and those are just a few things that you can turn your attention to. Hopefully you guys find this helpful. Any more questions, drop them down below, but otherwise keep it locked for plenty more Stories 2 content. If you want to catch more from us at Arekkz Gaming, don't forget you can catch the guys TwoSixNine and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch weekdays, playing a variety of games. If you guys want to jump in, tune in, watch, and even join in, then make sure you check them out. The links to those are in the description box down below, and of course you can join the Discord to get involved in all of the discussions.